Welcome, Kalle. Welcome, Kalle.
Thanks.
So yeah, just a little start for the discussion. Basically, what we're talking about today is GitOps, and we're going to kind of cover the basics at first of what is GitOps. I'm sure a lot of people listening this already know about it, but we want to cover so that everyone knows what we're talking about. And then we're going to take it back to the more of an automotive industry as well other industry sectors as well as we go. But basically, GitOps now, what we're going to be talking about is we're trying to automate as much as possible, right, of the old manual work that we have been doing for years and years now. And as we're doing complex things and delivering them globally, we need to kind of find a way to automate it and not be as much dependent on the people.
Yeah, very in concrete terms, it's a fundamental enabler for basically like accelerating the rest of the 80% of any software delivery. Like all of us in the line has been in some project that, okay, now it's finished. Oh, it's not. Actually, we need to do this. We need to deliver the software. We need to update the software. We need to have change management. We need to actually travel abroad. We need to go to Brazilian rainforests to actually install the software. And this is like a fun. I wouldn't say silver bullet, but it's a fundamental and very large piece of this whole puzzle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that basically answered all the questions, so we don't need to go further.
Yes. Yeah.
No, but for real, Kalle, why don't you first of all tell why are you here? Why is this topic close to your heart, and how did you get into the GitOps topic in the first place? And also tell about yourself, please.
Thanks. So name is Kalle Mäkelä. So we built, like you may have heard, autonomous vehicles. So we put computer, and we have a computer. We integrate sensors to it. We put it on a vehicle platform, and then we basically run it autonomously, the vehicle. In basically nowadays we do it in closed areas, but we have had this kind of last mile and shuttle bus use cases also what we have done. You may have actually noticed in the papers. And now we have, for example, in this public references is this UD trucks in Japan, where we are operating a dump truck that is transporting, and it's as a business case, it's a huge problem nowadays in the world. The autonomous trucks, that is what is it trying to solve, because there are no actually drivers, and like green transition, we need to accelerate the mining business again, but we don't have any drivers. So it's like a fundamentally very big problem in many places, and it's like ad hoc kind of way that it's asynchronous thing when you order some materials, and then you need to transport it when it's not raining or it's raining or whatever. So there's a huge potential also in the closed area.
So realistically, how far are we from having the autonomous?
So we have it. So we have it
outside on the open.
Outside on the open road, that's like a discussion that we could take for a day. But personally, I believe it's gonna in some sort of sunny case, which is now actually run in San Francisco level 4 or level 5, but we are actually focusing on level 4. Okay. So difference between level 4 and level 5 is that level 4 is remotely monitored, and when the vehicle has some problems that it cannot resolve, it actually asks for help, but the vehicle is not driven remotely. Okay. It is told vehicle will ask, can I go there? Please make sure that I am safe to do it.
Yeah.
So it, and then this kind of remote operator will do it. But level 5 is like that. Okay, drive me to Tenerife kind of scenario. But it will come iteratively also, and it will come when it's come.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So how does this all tie into? We're talking about GitOps today.
Yeah.
And we're basically talking about any heavy industry where you have to deliver stuff to world. So how does this tie to Sensible 4?
Yeah. So like you may know, it's like a really safety critical area. So when you have multi-ton vehicle driving around autonomously, it's hard with humans already. So it's actually quite hard with computers. So it's a very that's why I love about my job, that it's very difficult problem that we are solving, and it's getting there. And we have a product for example live already there. So but it is the edge computing. The edge computing is now what the generic term that we want to talk about when we talk about GitOps.
Okay.
So you have one or infinite amount of devices or hardware or whatever in the wild, and you need to update software there. So you are not able to do it in this normal way, or like the waterfall way, or water scrum fall way either, because you when it's in the wild, you are talking about deterministic world versus non-deterministic world. So
can you explain that?
So if you are developing some web software, like, again, this kind of web shop, so everybody can develop a web shop. So it's very but okay, it's okay now. So determinism is like that you have a constraint, you can constrain the environment where you are operating the software. But in a sense, like if you are in the wild and you should be operating like, and of course, if you are running a business with our trucks, it's quite like it needs to be very fastly corrected and like updated, because you have a changing like environment parameters, for example, all the time, weather, dust, like whatever new kind of objects that you are like somebody's throwing a baseball there, like like we haven't seen a baseball before, but like now it's there, so what to do? So it is like it's very difficult situation.
And I guess the whole autonomous vehicles, they're gonna be more in mines, they're gonna be in the forests, they're gonna be everywhere. So it's gonna be all over globally.
It's a connectivity thing also. So we need to build a secure and like a robust connectivity. And actually GitOps, like fundamental, when we talk about GitOps, is like is that you are able to build the whole environment and the whole CI/CD pipeline on the premise of the source code system, version control system. So you can audit, you can trace, you can add changes, you can basically build automation on it, and like many of you online know that how hard it is to build CI/CD systems if you have fragmented tooling, fragmented product, fragmented processes. And I actually now I must say that like GitOps for me has turned this kind of, let's invent the process first and then put the tooling, because we need to know the process. But actually with the GitOps, you have a tool, and then you can do as agile as much possible process on top of it, because you don't have to anymore travel to the other side of the world to to test it. You can do it remotely, and then when you roll new versions, you can do it like a rolling update per one vehicle in the site, and then validate it, and then everything is driven from Git point of view. So that actually means the Git-based operations.
But how does that tie? Because we are always talking about security now more and more in the not just autonomous, but everywhere, automotive. We're talking about the risks of taking over of a car, for example. How does the security tie into the GitOps solution?
So GitOps actually, in reality, in practice, it is that you have an agent in the target environment. Every environment has an agent, and it will then connect back to the centralized, let's say fleet management system, and ask that, okay, in which state I need to be in. But in previous world, you actually put like a USB stick in, and you basically push the change to the target environment, and it can be like one or many. But now when you are having a pull-based change management, like it will deploy basically and asking from the centralized server always to the cloud. And in previous time, it was extremely difficult to do this with a push-based method. Because that is actually a security risk. Then when you have an open connection to the target environment, it is always open, for any kind of malicious actors.
So basically, when the vehicle comes, it gets the connection to internet. It's gonna go and check what's happening, and if there's an update, it's gonna take it.
Yes, it's like actually the mobile phone. Like everybody is using this mobile app store like a daily thing. But it is like it is trillion. I would say trillions of dollars have been put there. That actually, when you download the app, it says that okay, you have an update, and you just say that okay, please update. Everything is kind of done like GitOps way, but the whole web store is the fundamental mechanism that has been built to do that. And without that web store, that has been like impossible. Also, like nobody wants to do an APK download and then put the configuration in the right place and put it on.
Okay, that's interesting. I would a little bit. I mean, we're going quite fast now, and I'm thinking of different. Could you kind of go through the different parts of the, like we talked about version control, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the things. We talked about security.
Yeah.
But can you kind of divide what are the things, like if there's a company, that's startup that starts doing something with this, starting to deliver something for the first time in the world, what kind of things should they be, looking at? What are the things to consider?
Basically, greenfield.
Yeah,
I always envy the greenfield projects. But in greenfield, there is you have a almost problem of like multiple of choices that you can make. So GitOps has a lot of different tools already. So GitOps is this kind of this overarching term of the tool set that we have. So you can have a Kubernetes based, you can have only like a Docker based, like Portainer. And then on the Kubernetes side, you have like Rancher Fleet, Flux CD, Argo CD, and even Weaveworks. I know like Weaveworks is actually building, I believe, the Argo CD. Somebody in the chat can actually prove me wrong, but but that is like the cloud native way.
Okay.
But like in our case, we are building on like with the ROS product now, that we need to choose a correct like abstraction level, that okay, what we want to manage with Git, what we want to manage it with different like for example, we burn something to the image, what we burn on the computer, what we install, etc. So it's like it's actually tied very much to the architecture of the software, that okay, what you want to manage when you are there with over the air updates, for example.
Okay.
So fundamentally, like you talk about configuration, like that's like, and how do you inject the configuration in? So there's multiple way, even like with containers. But if you don't have even containers, you can build this kind of same mechanism with normal infrastructure automation tools. And like what I actually forgot to tell, like GitOps is basically it's like a second synonym for infrastructure as code. But the fundamental difference is that you have an agent on the target environment, which actually then does the upgrade when it's told. So, but the configuration and the architecture and the abstract interfaces to your application needs to be defined, and then that's like a hand in hand, and which I love in our case, because at the same time when we like modernize or whatever rewrite our software, we are always able to automate more and more, because we are able to like have this strangle pattern, basically, if you know about like software development. You know the strangle pattern, that you have this kind of legacy code that you need to strangle out, but then you rewrite it on the top of the new platform. And also the platform development here is a thing for the product itself, but then for the developer. So as a DevOps consultant, I was previously so giving a new tool a development doesn't necessarily mean that they are able to do DevOps, like, of course, because the cultural thing also, but also new tools, like, because it's a new way of working always, it needs to be proven that is very like effective. But what is more fundamental than Git? And Git is like, you can build for the whole DevOps platform internal, what you have. You can actually say that, okay, when you are in a branch, when you push to the branch, all of the test environments are automatically with correct test data, even pulled from the target environment, dynamically with ML ops, like machine learning ops also can be included to this method. And you build the whole CI/CD and DevOps platform based on this GitOps tool. And it, like I said before, it is extremely difficult to build coherent, very fast and lean CI/CD pipeline when you don't have this capability. But this is at the same time, when you build the correct CI/CD method the modern way, you are modernizing the target environment, because you are using same exact way to deploy the test environment in the cloud, whatever you do, interface like mocking, whatever is needed to do a separate, like if you have separate environments needed, some sort of separate dependencies, you do that, and then you have the correct environment. So it is like, it's so wonderful to have reusable, like everything on the pipeline and the target deployment, and even release. Yes.
Well, that must be actually, as a topic, it kind of ties into also like regulations and everything like that, because as much as I know about the automotive industry, there's ISO 26262, all these different ASPICE, everything,
Yes.
and somebody's gonna shoot me for this, but basically the bottom line is that you need to show that what has been done and why it has been
It needs
done.
to be
So
audible.
we need to understand why something is out there. So
and every change needs to be traced, and every change needs to be tested, and every So I wouldn't build an autonomous vehicle company if that would be done in the old ways.
Okay.
Like even the whole German country is in problems in this because like it's very process driven, and actually like this kind of specification versus process, it's not the same thing. Okay. Like with GitOps, those standards and the process is not the same thing. Sorry, I said it wrong. But like to be able to be compliant for those standards, the GitOps actually gives us the power to do that.
Yeah.
Like in reality, like we would be like thousand strong company. We would need to be if we would be like compliant with this kind of that manually we verify everything and like this. But like now we are able to automate the whole thing.
Yeah.
Really the whole thing, and then we can audit the whole thing like with the pull method. So it is, and the security and safety. I'm a firm believer that if you are not able to deliver the product iteratively, you are not able to be safe. You will always bring more and more regression to the system, and that's like the old water scrum fall way that you bundle the patch sizes like very large, and then you have an extremely difficult time for that. But like iteratively, that this is actually the end-to-end basically what we can build here.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It is.
It truly is. Well, Yanni is asking here a good question that we're going to cover later, but let's cover it now that we're talking about. So every technology, system, practice has their downsides. What is the biggest problem with GitOps? And I would kind of tie this to also that like realistic obstacles. What do you see on the like? It's not that simple. We make it sound like okay, this is the way we do it nowadays. If it was that simple, every company would be already.
But I would turn this the way like let's talk about one other reason. Remind me, but like the 80%, like I said before, you need to pay it anyway. Okay, so this doesn't come cheap. You need to automate like crazy. You need to when you always develop a new feature, you need to always think about this, that okay, how it's actually managed in the production, and how do you make it as easy as possible. And you need to do the investment for the tooling, for the abstraction, for the architecture revamp, everything that needs to be done. So in a sense, it's not easy, but like if you are like really eager to do it, you can do it. Another reason is maybe that this Git is what invented this random letters in a row. This tool is not like somebody are afraid of it. It is very complex if you want to go to the end, but actually you can make it much more simpler when you create the platform for the developers, for the operational people, and then the auditing and everything is on top, and you build it basically, and you build a pull mechanism. So you have a value, you have the value stream, the technical value stream there. You optimize with GitOps, you automate it, and then you have this pull-based method that okay, this change set in a V model sense, like how we see it, we have the standard ISO 26262, for example. We see that okay, we are not doing process-wise that okay, we push, and then back on the other side, like normal waterfall stuff. But we actually run it like many times per day. We do it for that small batch, and then reactively report everything what we have done. And then when we see that okay, what is the missing piece from the auditing point of view, we can then inject that and develop that process flow all the time, and we are continuously improving our like lead times and our then capabilities on the auditing and the safety side, basically by that. But I have seen it so many times that, like for example, this OEM world is that the V model is the process, and I see that it is not the process. Process is like enabled with the GitOps, and you build the process on top, which is very efficient, very lean, and you can actually do everything with correct simulation, for example. And simulation is in our field, very difficult thing and very expensive thing actually to be able to run everything in simulator. And then you report what you need to do based on the specification.
If you talk about investment though, it's going to be a lot of investment already. There's a lot of companies who have teams of people doing this. That's already sort of a sunk cost. They already have it going on. What is the business case?
Business case is that you are able to develop the product and keep up with the pace of the development. You are not able to develop at least this kind of product with the release cycle of 6 months. There is no way. So you need to really push for the change in your organization that you are, and then the cross-functionality team actually comes into play. Like that you have a capability within the team then to do everything because you have the DevOps platform that you have built, and then you are able to deploy and run in the field even without a customer knowing. And actually one important thing that this transformation of the company, it's like it is the end-to-end of the company from the contract to the delivery of the release. It is transforming the whole company way of working when you have this capability.
And I think this is the part where at least what I've seen, and not necessarily just in the automotive, but in the industry, it's big, because we see issues in the customer end. But even if we get this thing going on that now we can really deliver software in a certain way, we have still tons of gates before that we have to actually figure out and fix, because we might have an ownership issue, we might have a process issue, we might be going wrong way already in the sales part, basically. So in order to get there to be able to deliver, let's say, several times a day, it needs to have the whole value chain basically covered, right? Let's take this anyway though, because now this is an interesting. You used to be consultant and now you're working in a product house. What is the biggest learnings and challenges? What has helped? Because now you have seen a lot of different industries. How does it reflect on the
experience more even concrete, in a sense that outside help is actually very energetic for the customer? Like when I was a consultant, when customer invests something, and you normally then you have the trainings and you have the handovers, and because it costs something. But when you are inside a company, everything is up to you. Everything is like you need to somehow build everything at the same time because we are a startup, although bigger startup, but it is you need to then still invest in these things and correct time at the correct time, and that's the most difficult thing.
That's good. Antti is asking, what are different ways to do development branch deployments? With the master and with GitOps on Kubernetes platform.
We don't Kubernetes. It doesn't actually matter even what's the platform, but like the tools that I said on the Kubernetes side, there is a lot of different choices from the branching policy point of view. So I'm a firm believer of trunk-based development, and without GitOps, that is again even impossibility. So that means that you are able to test on your own development environment the same tests. So you have the platform. Actually, we have called DevOps Toolkit. We have developed it internally, and you use it, and you are able to run like our robot framework test, for example, within the context of the developer, and the same tests are run then later in the pipeline. And the trunk-based development for me means that you are able to do it on the head, but you need to test beforehand before it's accepted. So like the Google does it. So they have invested a lot on the main, but we are now like going that way. But now our pipelines are going to be built so that our environment is scaling to the cloud with simulators, and we are basically able to. We have polyrepo. We don't have monorepo. So we have polyrepos that are combined on the feature branch name. So we have the same name for the feature branches, and then we are able to combine every change set from each repositories for the branch. And then we are able to constantly like test it in the cloud, and then we are able to do like this fast merge requests when you like whenever we want, and not necessarily end of the sprint, but like we are doing, by the way, Kanban and Scrum, so it depends on the situation. But feature branches for me are like not so pretty, because it is always giving a possibility that they are not integrated as fast as possible. And Dan Farley is in this conference, and he's firm believer also the pair programming. So why do we keep merge requests or pull requests? And then like, okay, see that, okay, because automation can give you the 80% of the result of your, is it good code?
Yeah.
And then with the pair programming, you are able to review and then do it straight to the trunk.
Yep. And learn from each other at the same time.
Yeah, to learn from each other. And it is promoting more this kind of collaboration.
Yeah.
But GitOps is a fundamental piece on the collaboration, because then you are able to check out the branch on your own computer, or all of the dependencies that you need, and just deploy. Yeah. And you have exactly the same version that you have in the production, if you want.
How do you see the change though? Because let's say we have a company that is not working with trunk-based development. In order to move there, is it even possible? It's going to be quite a change.
No, I did it like 12 years ago already, so with SVN. So I don't in telco.
Yeah.
So, but there were like 20 people building the automation there. So, but now would be much more cheaper to do it.
Yeah. It just requires certain kind of.
It's like that you have
organization who wants to.
Yeah, you have that someone that does something.
Yeah.
And is interest on that. So.
What kind of benefits you have seen on the team level with GitOps? Well, we actually touched that.
Yeah, it's collaboration. Like when you have automation capability, you are able to collaborate a lot better. Like it's not like all of the dependencies are encapsulated, meaning that's the fundamental thing. Yeah. All of the dependencies, test data, test scripts, test cases, code versions, configuration, calibration information. Like what is our platform model, what is the different interface definitions maybe that we use, like if we have a change, then feature dockles, we are able to put that feature on, and everything is like when you check out the code, you are able to just like do it. When you have the DevOps toolkit there, that DevOps toolkit deploy, and then you have exactly the same, and like you can imagine if you're a developer, you can imagine what the capabilities then are like.
So we do talk about the developer experience a lot now, which is really good, because things are really shifting left, and not really necessarily always in the right way. But good to see that this is actually helping the developer experience.
Actually, it's helping me to build that, because it's like without GitOps, it is, like I said, in CI/CD pipe, it is CI/CD. It's like an external machinery. That is like little bit. Away from the developers, and they are always called, because I see that this is actually a problem, that you have the DevOps guy, and that's the silo, and like, oh, this is again broken, like this is like fix it because the like disk is full or something. And but then when you have the capability to do the same commands in the development environment that you actually running in the pipeline, you have the ownership. It's easier for me because my developers are able to do the fixes, like they are actually building the build things and everything. So thanks for my colleagues, because like the building the whole artifacts, and basically change the configuration, etc. That needs a developer. So it makes actually our company much more closer. It's the handovers are going away, etc.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a fundamental just in DevOps already.
Yeah. So that's why I say that this is like so like mind blown, in the sense that it is like fundamental silver bullet almost, like that you can have so many good benefits of this, because developers are using Git. So just like use that, and then voila, you have the whole end-to-end capability.
I think also the like big thing here is that when you do all these changes, you make it sound like it's very easy for the developer, but in reality, I've seen that a lot of organizations, they're not training their people. There's a lot of miscommunication. There's like actually that change management is something that it's quite a key.
Like when you have more the steps of the process is much more simpler. You have a possibility of misunderstanding a lot less of possibility. And then when you automate it, you are able to like minimize the risks of everything. So How do I say it more?
We have 2 minutes left, but we have one interesting question actually. Going back a little bit to the DevOps toolkit that you said. Andy is asking, what features and benefits are you getting with your internal DevOps toolkit? Is it CLI wrapper for other tools or custom scripts?
So it's both. So we have a CLI wrapper. We have basically a repository called DevOps Toolkit, and it has the scripts and it has the integration also to our pipe. So we are using from the YAM. We have GitLab, and on GitLab YAM we are basically calling the same commands.
Okay.
And also like our one Teemu on our side developed actually this like encapsulation on the image even. So we have the same build environment on the development machine, so we can use just like DevOps Toolkit, like S4 build env, and then put whatever image what you want, and everything is used on that encapsulation, and output is something.
Okay.
So it's it was actually quite capable already like 1 year ago, and I was like when I joined Sensible 4, and it has been like very fun to develop it more.
Yeah.
And the developers are thankful for that.
Yeah, all right. But hey, we're out of time. This was fun. I feel like we would have another hour if we would talk. We just to, tell everybody we have never wrapped any discussion in 40 minutes in the history. Thank you everyone for all the questions. These were really good questions, and I love that it was interactive.
Thanks for the sabotage. Yeah.
Hi, we're from Efficode, and we're delighted to organize the DevOps conference.
The interactive track at our conference has a unique opportunity for speakers and audience members to engage in dynamic conversations. It fostered a collaborative learning environment. Our tailored coaching services can also help you to overcome challenges in your software development life cycle. Let's have a chat.
Connect with us at efficode.com and let's push the boundaries of software development.